sleep? Is it a priority? Is it a big deal in your life, in my life, in the lives of others at DBU? Probably not. Well, why? Because we're young, we're dumb, we're in love, right? Some of us. But seriously, how late do you stay up? How many times do you have to get up the next morning for an 8 a.m. class? 9 a.m. class? 9:30? Probably quite often. So if we all stay up late, if we all don't get that much sleep, do we not know about sleep? Are we not educated? Do we just don't care? Why don't we see the necessity in sleep? Well, I'm here to inform you about what sleep is, about the 5 stages. Maybe you didn't even know there were 5. Maybe you thought you just crawled into bed, closed your eyes, and woke up when the alarm came off. I'm going to tell you about the 5 stages of sleep, and hopefully by the end you can have an accurate assessment of what a sleep cycle is. Maybe that would change the way you think about what happens when you close your eyes at night. So back in 2007, a man by the name of Tony Wright broke the world record for the amount of time to stay up without sleeping. And guess what it was? I'll give you a hint. Back in 1964, the record was 264 hours. Well, Tony Wright in 07 broke it 2 hours more than that. 266 hours. That's 11 days. That's a long time. The longest time I've ever stayed awake for a span of time was 44 hours. I thought that was a long time, but that's nothing in comparison to Tony Wright. And his sole purpose for doing this was to show that loss of sleep doesn't affect the body as much as scientists say. Now, it's interesting he says this because, one, we know that everybody's body acts different and reacts different. 2, back in 1964, the Guinness Book of World Records actually refused to endorse sleepless methods and sleepless marathons anymore because of the potential threats to physical and psychological parts of the body. Now, this is all from a news article I read from the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom. So Tony Wright sets the record 11 days straight. Now, was he not informed on what sleep was? I'm sure he was. I guess he just didn't see a need for it. So what is sleep? Like I shared, it's 5 stages. Stage 1, transition to sleep. This lasts about 5 minutes long. It's where you just before you close your eyes, where you're still cognitive, but you're detached from the world. Your eyes move slowly under your eyelids. Your muscle activity slows down. It's very, very, very light sleep. Which leads us into stage 2, which is light sleep. This lasts between 10 and 25 minutes. And this is the first stage of true sleep. Your eye movement completely stops. Your heart rate slows down. Your body temperature decreases. That's why they say that if you sleep in a cool room as opposed to a hot, warm room, then you'll have a better chance of a good night's sleep. Stages 3 and 4 can be combined to the term deep sleep. Now this is when you're most difficult to awaken. This is when you wake up and you're completely groggy and you just want to sleep for the next 48 hours of your life, right? That's where your brain waves move extremely slow. That's where your blood flow is away from your brain and towards your muscles, restoring your physical energy. The 5th and final stage of sleep is REM sleep, the REM cycle that we like to call it. Now this is the dream sleep. This happens between 70 and 90 minutes after falling asleep. This is where your dreaming occurs. This is where your eyes move rapidly. That's what REM stands for, rapid eye movement. Your heart rate and blood pressure increase, and your arm and leg muscles are actually paralyzed. And maybe you've woken up in the middle of the night and you've looked around and you're awake, but you can't move your body. This is because you've awoken in the REM stage of the sleep cycle. So these are the 5 stages. And according to helpguide.org, in their article, How Much Sleep Do You Actually Need? And according to Brain Basics, which is a government website, they say that the average sleep cycle lasts between 85 and 92 minutes. So a 5-stage sleep cycle is about an hour and a half. Now why is that important? That's important because if you can figure out the amount of time that your sleep cycle takes, then to have optimum sleep, you sleep in cycles and you sleep in increments of that amount of time it takes you to finish one sleep cycle. Me personally, my sleep cycle is 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. You might ask, well, how do you know that? Well, I take naps and I see when my body wakes up. I go to bed at night and I don't set an alarm and I see when my body wakes up naturally. And I go from there and I break it down. So for you to figure out how long it takes you to complete a full cycle through the 5 stages of the sleep cycle, like I just discussed, then I guarantee you will sleep better at night. Your naps will be better. Your days to come will be better. Because according to Brain Basics as well, if you don't get enough sleep, you become drowsy. Your alertness goes down. You may have hallucinations. Your mood swings occur. This is for everyone, both guys and girls alike. And sleep is important because proteins break down cell growth. Proteins break down the cells that enable your body to function. And proteins are needed for all these things. And if you don't get sleep, your proteins can't break anything down. So in this speech, I've discussed the 5 stages of the sleep cycle. I've discussed the longest amount of time that someone stayed awake. And I've highly encouraged you to not stay awake that long. Especially not for 11 days. Not even 2 days. So the 5 stages. Ending with the REM cycle, the REM sleep. And please figure out how long your sleep cycle is. You will sleep better. Your friends will like you more. You'll like the world more. So to end on a high note, I'll end with a quote. It's by Ernest Hemingway. He says, "I love sleep. Why? Because my life has a tendency to fall apart when I'm awake." We can all agree to that one. Get some sleep.